Welcome back, everybody. 5:40, and a conclave will soon begin to select a new leader of the Roman Catholic Church.
The breaking news we've been following all morning, of course, the passing of Pope Francis just hours ago. So joining us live this morning is Religious and Catholic Studies Professor Matthew Schmalz of the College of Holy Cross. Professor, am I saying your last name correctly?
Yeah, it's close enough.
Well, okay. If you're okay with it, then I'm okay with it.
I'm definitely okay with it.
Listen, thank you, first of all, for being here so early and at the last moment. Let's start with talking about the legacy of Pope Francis, because he is the first pope from the Americas. He was a number of firsts, but his humility, when we think about Pope Francis, his humility is perhaps top of mind for a lot of Catholics, a lot of Christians out there. What is the legacy in your mind that this man leaves behind?
Well, I think his legacy is that he was a pope of mercy, and he proclaimed a God of mercy and opened up the Catholic Church in ways that no other pope has done before. So his papacy was really historic, and so we mourn his loss today, but also celebrate his wonderful legacy that will last for decades, perhaps even centuries.
Professor Schmalz, I want you to dig down a little bit deeper into how he opened up the Catholic Church and how he was seen as a man of the people. His policies were policies that were untouched before. Can you explain a little further?
Yeah, I think he reached out to communities that had long been excluded. Obviously, the LGBTQA plus community. He's reached out to women and consistently reached out to the poor, to immigrants and migrants. So he opened up the Catholic Church in an explicit way to the needs and concerns of those that society has forgotten.
I think, Professor, it's important to note here his background. I mean, this is not a pope that followed a traditional path to the papacy, I guess you could say. He was a former bouncer, a former nightclub bouncer in Argentina. He was different in so many ways. Latoya and I were actually just talking about this during the commercial break. He was different in so many ways. What else made him unique?
Well, I think his style. I mean, he didn't like very much the formalities and trappings of being a pope. He reached out to the people, and, he talked very openly about his own life. And one of the things that he said about himself, which always struck me, is that he said, "I'm a sinner." And, he said, I don't mean that in just a throwaway kind of way, that I truly am a sinner. And I think what his personal witness showed us is how we all need mercy, how we all need to put our trust in a loving God. And so it was his humility, his honesty, and his style of outreach that will certainly endure and shape the papacy for generations.
Professor Schmalz, we're running out of time, but I really want to set the stage here. What's next? The conclave is a very specific process. Can you briefly give us some insight to that?
Yeah, after the Pope's funeral, there will be a series, the cardinals will meet in what are called general congregations to get to know one another and to discuss issues from the church. Then I would expect about 2 weeks after the Pope's funeral, the conclave will begin. And with so many cardinals from the margins of the Catholic world, we're inevitably going to be surprised at who Pope Francis's successor will be.
Well, we'll have to leave it there. Professor Schmalz, thank you so much for your insight. Thank you for your stories about Pope Francis and really giving folks a good understanding of his legacy. We hope to speak to you maybe later on in the newscast or throughout the day, because I think it's important to hear your voice. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank